The Binance hack, the Tokyo whale selling thousands of Bitcoin, the CFTC ruling Bitcoin and virtual currencies as a commodity to be regulated. What do? The FUD is in the air. Don't worry, guys. We're going to break this all down for you and tell you exactly what's been going on in the crypto world lately, especially as it relates to Bitcoin. We're going to talk about Callisto and the price on YoBit. We're also going to talk about Bitcoin Private's price on TradeSatoshi. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with my thoughts on the new stablecoin brought to you by Bittrex, TrueUSD, because Tether wasn't scammy enough. My name's Justin Wise. Welcome to the Cracking Crypto Hour. Stay tuned. All right, guys, and let's get right into it. Right now, we're looking at a chart of Bitcoin. And as you can see, we're looking at the daily chart right now. Let me go ahead and click this so we can see a little bit clearer. And as you can see right now, we have experienced 4 pretty rough days for Bitcoin. Bitcoin taking a real pounding over the last 4 days. Now, there are a lot of ideas and rumors circulating all over the place about what the cause of this is. And you'll notice this in all markets. Every time that there's a major price increase, or especially if there's a major price dump, everybody will scramble to all the news outlets and they will look for the headline to explain to them, why is this happening? I think that's kind of a nonsensical approach. Sometimes there is really no reason for anything to happen. Things in the market often just happen, and then people use what tend to be coincidental news events to justify or corroborate why this is happening to them. Now, in this case, however, there is a significant financial event and sell-off of Bitcoin that we're going to talk about as it relates to this mysterious Japanese whale. We're going to break it all down for you and explain stuff. But first, let's just take a look at the price here on Bitcoin real quick. So again, as you see, we've experienced kind of a rough 4 days. We came up here to the resistance line that I've been indicating. Shout out to all the Cracking Crypto team members right now viewing this on YouTube. Make sure you guys give us those thumbs up, and we'll talk to you guys in the chat room. But if you guys have been following, you know that we were talking about this $11,800 mark right here. This is a very heavy area of resistance to the Bitcoin's upward movement back into where we'd like to see it go into bullish territory. And as you can kind of see, if you take a macro view of this, obviously we're in this downward trending channel, this bearish channel, since we peaked at the top at about 19,000, almost 20,000. And we've been kind of in this downward channel, obviously, and a lot of people have been very concerned about it. Obviously, we dipped very dramatically down here, just a smidge below 6,000 back on February the 6th and the 5th. And I know a lot of people got faked out. I know a lot of people probably sold at the bottom. It was probably the most horrible idea you could have had. That was definitely the time to be buying, because we have rebounded over 100%, almost 100%, just in that very short time. So we came up to this 11,800 back on the 20th of February and got rejected. This is also the 50-day moving average, as we see right here, and something that that I've been saying. This is very simple. We made that trading video earlier on moving averages, and this is a very basic way to look at it. But you always want to keep these macro things in mind. So this is the 10-day exponential moving average. You can see it's hugging the price very closely. It's hugging the bottom of the price all the way up, and we can see the crossover. This is generally a good time to exit the market, and then we see the reentrance of it, a good time to enter the market. And this is the peak that formed. This is the second price peak that formed our downward upward trend line. Oh, let me back that up. That's a Fibonacci line. Okay, so as we can see here anyways, what I want to talk about is this crossover of the 10-day exponential moving average and the 50-day simple moving average. So the simple day moving average is much slower, follows the price much more gradually, and is a better baseline for price, but it doesn't react very quickly to extreme price volatility as the exponential moving average will do so. So see, we had a strong signal here to exit pretty much all crypto markets, because all crypto markets rise and fall to the tune of Bitcoin. Back here on January 14th, this would have been a great time to exit the market and would have preserved you a lot of capital. It would have kept you out of the market until just almost a week ago on the 2nd of March. And we finally have this golden crossover of the 10-day exponential moving average and the 50-day simple moving average. And I had posted to the guys in the chat, hey guys, it's a good time to get back in if you guys hadn't got back in. Although my strategy for Bitcoin has always been a dollar cost average strategy. So I've been buying the whole way down, as I recommend everybody else to do. You know, this obviously is what I get paid to do. Sometimes it's very hard to time the market, and when something as volatile and explosive as Bitcoin, you know, we can kind of see larger trends, but it's always good to accumulate. You know, dollar cost averaging is a tried and true tested strategy, and it can apply to trading just as well as anything else. So if you look here, actually, just this green little dot 3 minutes ago was 0 UTC time. It's 6 p.m. Central time where I'm at. So we have the beginning of the new day, and we're starting on a green candle. That doesn't really mean a whole lot, but I'll get to that in just a second. So it is looking here like we might see another death cross. You know, like we entered the market here and we get right back out, you know. So that's unfortunate, but I'm going to take a larger approach view of this. So I know that a lot of people I've seen a lot of charts online, and I see people drawing their trend lines wrong. They draw their trend lines like we've pierced above it. We haven't. It doesn't matter if you look at the logarithmic or the linear scale. We have not crossed that upward trend line if you draw it correctly from the two top peaks. Now, obviously, you can see down here we faked out, and I know well, it depends on how tight they were having their stop losses. I mean, you could make very profitable trades of the people who were trying to go like 20x long on Bitcoin right here. I know a lot of people got wrecked right here because of this false breakdown. And I know a lot of people got wrecked right here on what they thought was a false breakout. But as you can see, we've got this $11,800 cluster of resistance right here, and it's preventing us, which corresponds a little bit to the 50-day moving average. At least it was this time, and that's why I was very positive last week when we did break above the 50-day moving average after coming up to test it, getting rejected back down into the 10-day moving exponential moving average, and then we came up, broke through this Fibonacci line, and we were marching toward this Fibonacci line, this resistance cluster, and we broke through the 50-day moving average. So we had passed 2 levels of resistance with just 2 left to go. But as you can see, we did get rejected right here on this gravestone doji, which, you know, this is trading, guys. These things happen. You know, if you guys would like to take a really macro view of Bitcoin, you know, do you guys think we're in a bull market or a bear market? So anyways, but we are definitely in a short term, but from right here, I'd say we're almost in a sideways chop action, which I'd really like to see, honestly. Sideways chop is what we need to see for the altcoins to wake up and really go on our altcoin season. I'm looking forward to March. I'm really looking forward to the end of March being a huge pickup time for the altcoins. But that's all going to depend on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin decides to go mega bearish, which it doesn't look like we're seeing right now, this doesn't look really horrible to me. As you can see here, you know, we came down to test this area of resistance, and we did break through it, but this is a very nice, beautiful reversal candle. This is a very nice hammer candle. Now, I mean, it's not a perfect hammer candle because we do have a wick on the top, but if you compare the size of the wick down to the wick on top, that becomes kind of negligible. Now, what I'm looking to see before I would advise anybody to re-enter the markets, and let me take a quick break here and just state that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for informational and educational purposes only. If you are dumb enough to make financial decisions and not do your own research based off what somebody, even I, say off YouTube, that's your own fault. Do your own research. So I won't be looking, I wouldn't be looking to re-enter into the Bitcoin market until about 9,919. I really want us to, people could say like, oh, look, we're trading above, the close of this candle. Well, if you want to be really risky, go ahead and enter, especially because it looks a little bullish right now. I mean, we've got a little bit of green, but this can change in a heartbeat. If we come up here and trade above 9,919, there's a couple ways to play it. You could tentatively enter into a position there, but you'd see we have 2 areas of resistance right here. We're coming up to the 50-day and the 10-day exponential moving average and the 50-day simple moving average, and also this Fibonacci line. So if we were to break through these 3 real good, or maybe here at about 10,200, it might even be a little bit lower by that time, but I'd say right about 10,200. If we can confidently trade above those, preferably even close, I mean, we're all good to come right back up here again, for a triple test of resistance. And I think that, we'll just have to see. It's a very strong possibility that we'll break through. We could get rejected again. The triple top could hold. If it is a triple top, I'm looking for us to go significantly lower. Probably all the way back down to test the bottom of the channel, down here in the $6,000, $5,000 range. That looks nasty. Nobody wants to see that, but I'm just telling you, the way it is from appearing on the chart. So right now it looks in the very, very short term a little bullish, especially because we got this nice reversal candle and we're trading green and we're trading above the close of the last candle already. If we trade above the high, it gets a little bit more bullish even. And that's bullish until we come up here to these resistance areas, the Fibonacci line and the moving averages. And that's even more bullish until we come up to test yet again the death mark of 11,700 to 11,800. So that's enough on Bitcoin right now. All right, let's get to the news. And hey guys, feel free to drop your comments, your questions, your sarcastic remarks down in the comment section down below. If you post something intelligent or you post a good question, I will be more than happy to respond to you. If you post something sarcastic, well, I love having targets to make fun of people for. So, feel free to put those down there. I really appreciate it, and we really appreciate it. So moving on. So the big news, this might be the second biggest news, but I think this is the big news, especially because I deal mostly with traders, is the Binance hack. So what actually happened? So this is, and again, all the information, as always, is down in the notes section down below. All links to all the material that I cover, you can check out down below. This is the official Binance website, and this is their support article on summary of the phishing and attempted stealing incident on Binance. So I'm not going to read all this to you. You can go through and check this out, but this is what happened. On March 7th, in a 2-minute window, a lot of users started reporting that their accounts, all their altcoins had been sold into Bitcoin, and all their at market level, which were significant losses for most people. And all their Bitcoin was used to purchase Viacoin, which is a low volume coin trading on Binance. Now, Viacoin was pumped up immediately, almost 10,000%, and then 31 coordinated accounts sold off at the top and immediately tried to withdraw that Bitcoin. Now, according to Binance, this triggered their fail-safe systems, and all trading was halted, all withdrawals were halted, and the hackers were not allowed to withdraw their funds. You will remember, however, this is exactly what MtGoX said. They said they got hacked, but they didn't get hacked, but they ended up getting hacked. Now, I'd like to think that we've come a ways since MtGoX, and I'd like to think that Binance has their shit together. But I mean, this is the risk that you get for keeping your coins on an exchange. I mean, if you're going to day trade, you put your coins on the exchange and you assume that level of risk. If you're leaving your coins on an exchange for the long term, you are making a poor decision, because these things do happen and there is nobody to call to get your coins back when it's all said and done at the end of the day. Keep your coins on a Ledger Nano S, on a hardware wallet. I prefer a Trezor. Honestly, I know Ledger Nano S has a little bit more support, but your Trezor is going to support all your ERC20 tokens, your Bitcoin, your Litecoin, your Ethereum, your probably Dogecoin. It's just, you can keep everything on a Trezor. I think the only thing that you might not be able to keep, and again, I have to look into the most recent update is maybe Komodo, things like Waves, things that have their own blockchain, some of the more different tokens. I don't think they have ERC223 support yet. But get a hardware wallet, or look into keeping your own wallet on your own computer. Invest in an air-gapped computer. It's easy to pick up a $100 or $200 laptop. Keep it, rip the wireless card out of it, neuter its wireless capabilities or its networking capabilities, and run your own cold storage. You can do that for Ethereum with all your ERC20 tokens. For MyEther wallet, you can run it locally, or you can run something like Armory, which is what I like to run for Bitcoin, because I like to run my own full node. So how did this happen? So there were a lot of rumors and tweets about it was people who plugged their API keys into an automatic trading bot. It's just, if you didn't use a bot, you're not affected, bro. Well, I was hearing that on Twitter at the time, and just going through, you can see that clearly was not the case, because of all the people tweeting out, hey man, I don't use an API trading bot. I've never activated API keys. I sure as hell don't use a bot. Well, what's going on? Well, turns out that it had nothing to do with bots. Turns out that as far back as January, there was a large-scale phishing attempt by a coordinated group of patient hackers, and what they did was they would create false Binance sites, very misleading. It would look like Binance in the URL and the address box, but maybe one letter would be different. Maybe there would be an umlaut or a couple double dots underneath N or something like that, is what I've heard. And people would think the site looks legitimate because it would look just like the Binance website. They would poop in their username and password, and their login credentials would get whisked off to the phishing, some database, some text file or whatever. The dude was just, the hackers were just collecting this stuff. And they played this long patient game. I think the phishing attempts really escalated in the middle of February, toward the end of February. And what the hackers did is they went into the users' accounts and they set up trading APIs. Now, keep in mind, I am relating the official story from Binance. Okay, I'm going to get into my thoughts on this in a second, and you guys can tell me if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm crazy. We can have a good discussion about it. So people were phished. They had their login credentials stolen. The hackers logged into their accounts and set up their own APIs for trading, and then within a 2-minute period of time, 1458 to 1459 UTC, the hackers sent a batch command to sell all coins at market value and to buy all funds into Viacoin at whatever price. This spiked the price of Viacoin 10,000%. The hackers had obviously accumulated lots and lots and lots of Via prior to this, and they sold at the very top and immediately tried to withdraw their BTC. Binance shut it down. All right. I've just related the official story of Binance. Now let's talk about what Binance plans to do about it. It says down here, actually, they don't say a whole lot. They don't actually say anything about making the victims whole again. Now, I've heard on Twitter that that's exactly what they're going to do. I have not heard from anybody on Twitter that they have gotten their coins back, that they have gotten their Bitcoin back, that the trades have been reversed. According to Binance, the funds are withheld, which is kind of a comeuppance, because not only did the Bitcoins that the hackers tried to steal from everybody else, not only were they withheld, but also the hackers' own Bitcoin that they had originally purchased all that Viacoin with was also seized. So they got wrecked pretty hard. Now, all I want to see, though, is I want to see Binance return that Bitcoin to its users. Preferably, it'd be nice to see them compensate them with the value that they lost in the short term, which shouldn't be that much. I mean, obviously, you take the Bitcoin volatility into account, but I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the value that they lost from purchasing those altcoins. Some of them purchased altcoins at the top and they're just way down, but I'm talking about the slight differential in price from when their coins were sold to whatever it is when you return their coins. I think that that's more than fair, and I think Binance has more than enough money. I think that obviously this isn't Binance's fault, but I just would like to see Binance, with as much money they have and as successful as they are and as committed as they say they are to user security, really try to do this. But I will say that if Binance's fail-safes were triggered and they're not lying like MtGoX, and that the Bitcoins weren't actually stolen and that they were able to withhold the funds, then kudos. Kudos to Binance, because that's pretty top-notch security then. If you can react that quickly within a 2-minute window and your system is that automated, top-notch, top-notch. But that's what I would say if I had gotten hacked. So now they do say right here that unfortunately, it says here, there are still some users whose accounts were phished by these hackers and their Bitcoins were used to buy Via or other coins. Unfortunately, these trades did not execute against any of the hackers' accounts as counterpart. As such, we are not in a position to reverse the trades. We again advise all traders to take special precaution to secure their account credentials. Now, what that means, if you don't understand, that means that there were some non-hackers who were holding Viacoin, who had really high sell orders or were just paying attention, and they saw the pump and they put in they put in a really high sell order trying to take advantage. Now, since Binance is saying that because some people, because those people weren't hackers, basically, if you were phished and your coins were sold and your Bitcoin was used to buy Via, but somebody that was not a hacker sold their Via, or sold their Via to you at an extremely high price and made out like a bandit, well, there's nothing they can do for you because it wasn't one of the hackers. I don't agree with this. I know that there's a really good argument to be made for, hey, code is law, blah, blah, blah. This stuff isn't the blockchain. This was, I know there's a lot of market manipulation, but this is the stuff that keeps like real good, big money out of here. And this is what keeps the price of Bitcoin deflated in the short term. You want to bring in institutional investors. You want to bring in lots of money. This is going to make the price go up more rapidly than even mom and pops getting involved in. It's not a good move. Binance should take steps to try to make people whole for who were victims of this hacking attempt. And I think it's pretty crappy of them to just say, hey, it sucks for you. Now, I mean, the argument you could make is from the other side, like, well, hey, I made out like a bandit. Yeah, but you made out, in a non correct way. It was a non non-existing trading environment that only came into existence because of some malicious attacks by hackers. And I don't like the idea of profiting off that. I don't like the idea of good people getting robbed by bad people, and I don't like the idea of indifferent people profiting from the actions of bad people. I don't think that's the kind of people we should be. I don't think that's how we should conduct ourselves in the space, you know. So that is my my thoughts. Now, however, I do have some questions though, because a lot of these people are saying that they had two-factor authentication on. Okay, so are you saying that the hackers also hacked all these people's phones and got their two-factor authentication either turned off, disabled, or whatever? I'm not exactly sure I'm buying all this, because the stance is that Binance, the site, was not hacked. That, you know, these people were phished. Okay, I can buy that. That's cool. But then how did they get past their two-factor authentication? You know, that code's only good for 60 seconds. So all these people, their phones were hacked. And, you know, the other thing is, if their accounts, you know, there's some people that are coming out and saying like, oh, well, you know, they had the trading API set up, and so most trades don't allow withdrawals. But if they had these users' login credentials and not just their API keys, then why didn't they just log into their accounts and withdraw the Bitcoin? You know, I think that would have been a lot quicker and easier, because then they wouldn't have had to try to do this big, massive, or maybe they just could have done that and they were like, oh, no, well, you're going to do this, like make this massive pump and dump and make out like a bandit. Smart move, but they got wrecked. So a lot of questions. It is possible though that when, you know, that they didn't get their login credentials, that they did just get their API keys somehow, some way, through some third-party site or through some trading bot. But that does not, that would make liars out of almost everybody that's coming out and saying, I never used API keys, I never used a trading bot, and all my coins were stolen. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But you know, if Binance did have such a secure system like that, then kudos to them. If not, then that sucks. And if they don't, I feel if they don't give the make attempts to make the customers whole again, to make the traders whole again that were affected by this malicious attack, then I think that's a poor move. I think that's a really poor move, and I think that speaks volumes about what kind of people we are. You know, the way that you act and conduct yourself, especially in a space like this, it's supposed to be just all about money, says a lot about you. And connections tend to be more important than money at the end of the day. So moving on, we'll talk about TrueUSD last. Let's go over to, well, you know what? Let's do the news first before we talk about Callisto. So the other huge piece of news, and excuse me for linking Digital Journal, I was on Financial Times, but they kicked me off because I don't have an account. So this is from Digital Journal. Tokyo whale selling off big lots of Bitcoin. Now there was an interesting picture that I had of this. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that plug and play, stop and start, but I did find the picture. So let's go through the article here real quick. So obviously, I'm sure that if you're in the Bitcoin space, you have heard about this this thousands and thousands of Bitcoin being sold from the MtGoX trustee. This is true. So Nobuaki Kobayashi is a Tokyo attorney and bankruptcy trustee for the defunct MtGoX cryptocurrency exchange, who is selling large lots of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and has been doing so since late September. If you'll all remember, obviously MtGoX was the 2012 Bittrex, if you would. I mean, everybody did their exchanging on there, you know, and then came Cryptsy, and obviously they got hacked and lost all their money and were insolvent and this and that. So it was a huge pandemic basically back in the day. It says here, Kobayashi has sold about $400 million worth of the coins since then and is holding another $1.9 billion at present. He will consider selling them as well in order to pay off MtGoX's creditors. MtGoX had been one of the world's largest Bitcoin exchanges before filing for bankruptcy 4 years ago. Now, obviously, people are wanting to blame these sells. Because I connected on Google Chrome there for a second. People are wanting to blame his massive sell-offs for the extreme spikes in price. So if we go back, you know, obviously this is December, November. Let's see if we look at the weekly candles. You know, people want to blame him for something that happened in September. Obviously, we can see that there's a dip there in September. I'm sure you'd want to blame this red candle on him too, and probably this red candle, and then all of this. So I'm not sure if I buy that. You know, obviously, you know, Bitcoin, you know, multiple $100 billion market cap, and a guy selling, you know, half a billion. Um, not really, you know, huge news and huge potatoes. Although obviously it does affect the market. What I think really happened, my own personal theories on why Bitcoin went down is I think just a lot of people just got greedy and wanted to take that cash, and I don't blame them. You know, I think, and I know that some people will vehemently disagree with me. I think that if you look at how absolutely ridiculously parabolic we went, um, just, you know, because if you just go back, you know, just looking at the weekly chart, I mean, 2013, you know, we're 300 bucks, you know, and like obviously, you know, people thought this was just massive, you know, but it wasn't until like 2017 even, toward the middle of 2017 that we finally broke $1,000. You know, toward the middle of 2017 we broke $1,000, and then we just went absolutely crazily parabolic all the way up to 20,000. And I think that when some people saw that, why do I have multiple of these up? That's annoying. I mean, I'm trying to advertise myself, but that's just ridiculous. I think that when it just got to a certain point, I think that people who have been holding Bitcoin for a long time were like, fuck this, I'm out at 20,000. And now, obviously, not all of them and not most of them. I mean, I know that, you know, there's the people who, like me, are diehard libertarians and really believe in Bitcoin and monetary sovereignty and being your own bank, and rejecting the status quo and the status system. I know that there's a lot of people who really, you know, believe in this long term just for the financial gain. I mean, obviously, it wasn't everybody because the price didn't go to zero, but I think that people are greedy and stupid and short-sighted, and I can't tell you what I would have done if I would have gotten into Bitcoin when it was a couple $100, or, you know, maybe even 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even up to 1,000 or higher, and then it goes to 20,000, and you just see that round number, and you're like, I'm out, dude. I'm out. I've been doing this for a long time. You know, people don't think about this a lot, but you know, if you're a crypto millionaire, you have physical possession of your money. Think how scary. You know, I don't think a lot of people who don't have that much crypto and are kind of distanced from it or keep it on an exchange, that's not real to them. When you have your own Bitcoin in cold storage, I mean, you are literally in physical possession. Some people have their entire wealth in Bitcoin. You're in physical possession of your money. It's like you had all your money, all your cash in your wallet or in a shoebox in your house. Do you know how scary that is? Just think about that for a second. That means that you are vulnerable to any physical attack or theft of your money, and it's gone like that, all your wealth. When your money's in a bank, you know, and it's insured, you don't have to deal with those threats and fears. Now, obviously, with that risk comes a lot of freedom and a lot of reward opportunity, especially as it comes to profit lately over the last years. But that's got to be stressful. That's got to be stressful. Some of these people have millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in crypto, and it's sitting on a thumb drive. Now, obviously, not everybody's that dumb. I mean, you look at what Gemini does, and they print all their stuff out on paper wallets, cut their paper wallets up into pieces, and store them in safety deposit boxes around the United States. That's pretty smart. But that's a stressful thing, man. So, anyways, this whale has been selling off millions and, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And, you know, I'm sure you guys have heard this if you listen to other channels, but what an idiot. I mean, really, this is malicious bordering, or excuse me, this is ignorance bordering on malevolence. Because when you have such a massive amount like that, you don't dump that on the open market. You handle that stuff in behind closed doors over the counter. Because that way you can get a premium on the price, and you also don't tank the market when you put it in such a massive sell order like that and just wreck everybody. I mean, if that truly is, you know, everybody seems to want to pile on that and say that's the cause for the market decline. I don't think that's the only cause for the market decline. I think it might have affected it, but the reality of the situation is there were so many factors that went into people selling. A big, huge round number like $20,000 seemed like a great profit or take profit point for thousands of people. I think that you know, the CME, obviously the CBOE futures and the CME futures launched. I think that there's a lot of backroom stuff that was happening around that same time. I think that people just thought that was a perfect opportunity to short Bitcoin, like your life depended on it. And obviously this whale, probably more. I don't. Who knows if he sold the exact top? If he did, it was probably coincidence. So I want to bring up this picture that I found. And sorry, it's small. Maybe I can zoom in on this thing a little bit. Here we go. So this is a chart of the Bitcoin price. Obviously, we can see here its all-time high. And what's interesting is 9 o'clock in the morning on Tokyo, linked to pretty much the beginning of every massive downturn right here. You can see here. And then this one took a couple days, and then down, and this one down, and this one all the way down, and this one down, and this one way down. So you know, yeah, people are definitely trying to blame this on this Japanese lawyer who doesn't know how to. I mean, but what he did though, like the way that he's selling this Bitcoin though, is clearly ignorant, because there are lots of people who would buy up this amount of coin over the counter and not affect the price of Bitcoin and pay him a premium. You know? And I'm sure there's hundreds and hundreds of investors reaching out to him being like, dude, quit tanking the price of Bitcoin and sell us these. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that works out. Our final story is virtual currencies are commodities, U.S. judge rules. So the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, per the hero of Bitcoin now, Giancarlo, its commissioner, who dropped the word hodl back at the Senate hearing not too long ago. Everybody was all at a rave about that. The federal judge ruled on Tuesday that virtual currencies, you know, it says like can be regulated as commodities, you know. So we'll see what they actually do. This coming out with the SEC saying that ICOs are unregistered securities most likely, and the IRS trying to come out and say that they're property. So you know we get to, you know we can tax them like property. Now, all these people are going to scramble around and try to, you know, just grab their piece of the pie and want to control it and regulate it, you know. And I'll get to this when we talk about TrueUSD here in just a little bit. But you know, the main thing that I want to get into is, from what I understand, Giancarlo basically is trying to say that he thinks there should be a new regulatory body drawn up for cryptocurrencies, like not the CFTC and not the SEC and not the IRS, but you know, the CAA, the Crypto Advisory Agency, or whatever you want to call it. I think that might be his. From what I understand, and again, from what I'm hearing on Twitter and from what I'm hearing from people that I respect, that's basically what he's coming out and saying. Because I didn't read this whole article. I just kind of skimmed over it. And it's really not that long from Reuters. So, but it'll be interesting to see what the CFTC comes out and does. This on the heels of the SEC sending out those 80 subpoenas that we talked about in our last video. So it'll just be interesting to see where how Bitcoin reacts to this, how the market reacts to this, and how and what, if any, I'm sure any will happen, regulations come out of this. So it'll be interesting to see. All right, cool. So thank you for joining us with the news. I just want to take this brief moment to say that if you are new to the channel, if you like what we're doing, if you want to support what we're doing, please give us those thumbs up. It helps new users find what they're looking for. It helps them find valuable information like this, guides them in the right direction. Please share this video. Show it to people that you think would benefit from the wisdom and education that we're trying to offer here. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed, you know. So obviously that's the standard spiel. You all hear it from all the other channels, but please support us. We want to grow. Please come to our website. Visit our website, crackingcryptocurrency.com. You can find all our latest blog posts, all our latest videos, all the latest fundamental analysis. We post those all up there for the coins that we're looking at and are interested in. You can also link to our Discord on there. You can join us free in the chat room. We talk about trading. We have a free signals channel where we talk about coins that we think are going to blow up. You know, the patterns that we see. We give, you know, all that good information. We talk about fundamental analysis, good investments for projects coming up that we're interested in, where we're putting our money. And then we got a lot of chat rooms. We got miners in there. We got traders in there. We got investors in there. We got goofy people in there. We got cool people in there. You're going to find what you're looking for. Come check out our Discord. And again, the link to the Discord and the website will be in the notes section down below. So we appreciate any support that you can give us. Okay, moving on to some talk about price. So in a previous video, I had definitely talked about Callisto and the Callisto airdrop. I want to thank, you know, we had over 154,000 visitors to our website when we posted up that Callisto countdown timer, and we were linked all over Twitter. So that was really, really cool to see. And I want to give a personal shout out to Ben, our developer. He did great work on that countdown timer. Scott, our website designer, and he runs the website. He does our news. He's our resident mining expert. He did excellent work on the website. Both those guys were pulling in double overtime, updating the server, keeping everything running. So big shout out to those guys. If you guys want to talk to some smart, knowledgeable people, talk to those two. Okay, so I want to apologize because I had tweeted out that Callisto was trading at $11, and that was a great boon. If you got into Ethereum Classic even at the top and you lost a little bit of money, and you got your Callisto on YoBit, you were able to sell your Ethereum Classic, hopefully at not much of a loss, preferably at the top, like I was recommending people to do. Even though I held my Ethereum Classic through the airdrop and just recently bought more on its dip, because I like Ethereum Classic for the longer term, for the year, 2, 3 decade long play. But no, Callisto did not launch at $11. I did not personally check the site. I try to stay far away from YoBit most of the time, even though I have used it in the past. But I guess I saw, for some reason, I don't know, I must have seen, a tweet, or I think it was actually somebody in the chat that was like, hey man, it's trading at this. And I was like, I saw 0.001 and just my brain was like, oh, that's $11. No, it was actually closer to 9 at the time. But then even some people were correcting me and saying this is fake news. It was only trading at 6. Whatever, dude. All right. Okay. I'm here on YoBit. I'm looking right at it, on, let's see. I don't know what day this is. This is 7 days. So I don't see 7 tickers here, but, BTC, the day that it dropped, which was like, I think two days ago, I think, it was trading at the very top, it was 0.001. So obviously some people were able to sell at that price. You're saying it's 6, whatever, it doesn't matter. So, but it's not trading at that now. All right, is the main point. It is leveled off at about $2, and we can see there that it's pretty steady. Not a whole. I mean, obviously there's some pretty significant volatility. Like here, it went up 25%. It's up 25% from where it was this time period right here. So but again, YoBit's, their charts are weird. It's kind of hard to interpret this, but we can see here we have a high of 14,049, 1337, and now we're up to the 2s, 0002, 000. Let's see if we're actually growing significantly. No, so we're just hovering around that 0002, going up, going down a little bit. There's a little bit of fluctuation, but not a lot of volume, obviously, because keep this in mind. The mainnet has not launched, so there isn't actually token distribution. So these people aren't actually trading real Callisto tokens. Again, anything that happens on a server doesn't happen on a blockchain except for a decentralized exchange. This is all happening in their server, so this is all just theoretical anyways. They're just trading like not even real like cryptocurrency around. They're just trading like virtual credits, and then at the end of the day, they cash out. They could input, output, credit, debit. So they're just trading theoretical tokens. So yeah, I mean, YoBit has opened up trading, but you can't deposit CLO there because there is no CLO to deposit, and you can't withdraw CLO tokens yet because there is no CLO to withdraw. So they're just trading make-believe future theoretical money. And I think it'll just be actually hilarious, even though I don't think this is going to happen. But if the Callisto project is like a scam and no mainnet has ever launched, which I don't think that's going on because I've been in their Discord and from seeing what they're talking about, I've read their white paper, it seems like it is legit, like there is a project. So it'll just be funny to see like, where's all this money, going to happen to. 24-hour volume of only 9 Bitcoin. So obviously not a whole lot of people hopped onto YoBit to take advantage of that. All right. So I did see, obviously, yesterday I was pointing this out. There's some arbitrage opportunity between the USD value and the BTC value. Like I think it was like trading at like 203 and its BTC value was like 230. So that was a nice little, you could arbitrage that over and over and over again, but you can't take advantage of that unless you're already on YoBit and you already had CLO. So it kind of seems, I guess you could sell your CLO if you would have sold your CLO and then bought, into Bitcoin and then, had some USD on there and bought the CLO back, traded into Bitcoin, go back to USD. You could just do that over and over and over again. And eventually the spread would lower, which it seems like the spread has lowered. So just be aware of those arbitrage opportunities, guys. I mean, there's lots of times where I'll do arbitrage between exchanges. The last time I made like 40% off Bitcoin Gold, arbitraging it between BTC and Bittrex was a good trade. Although they tried to get me because they shut down withdrawals on HitBTC like the second after I got out, so I was lucky to get out. That was fun. That was back in the day. That was pre 20,000. That was pre 19,000 days. Okay. TradeSatoshi, Bitcoin private, is on TradeSatoshi, trading at about 75 bucks. So I think that's pretty cool. I know that some people were saying that Bitcoin private was trading on KuCoin, but I could not find it on there, and nobody could provide me a link, so I'm going to assume that it's not. It is on TradeSatoshi though. Their mainnet is up, so the Bitcoin private mainnet is up. I talked about this in the last video, so you can go mine Bitcoin private. You can go be on their mainnet. You can be on their testnet. You can move your coins around in its own custom wallet, all that good stuff. And you can dump them on TradeSatoshi for 75 bucks a pop. Now, I don't think that's the play right now. Let's see here. Where can we find? Let's see here. There we go. Okay. 27 Bitcoin, about 28 Bitcoins worth of buy orders, and 15,287 BTCP worth of sell orders. That doesn't really. Let's see, they're 75 bucks a piece, so 75 divided by. I'm not doing the math. All right. I guess you know what? I'll do the math. Hold on a second. Okay, 123 Bitcoin. 123 Bitcoin worth of sell orders. All right, so that is pretty outrageous sell to buy ratio. Obviously, a lot of people are not taking advantage of this to scoop up Bitcoin private on the cheap. And again, this is exactly what I told people would happen. This is always the pattern of a coin, especially a Bitcoin fork coin, when it gets listed on an exchange. It dumps, and then it reaches an accumulation period where eventually buying pressure outweighs selling pressure, and then the coin, it gets pumped. Okay, this happened with Bcash. This happened with Bitcoin Gold. This happened with Bitcoin Diamond. Bitcoin Diamond was one of my most successful trades, 2017. 2018. The pump on Binance was pretty impressive. So that's how it works. The one thing that I got sidetracked by the other day, and I even talked about it in the chat, ONT dropped on Binance, the Neo fork, and I was like, guys, don't buy it. Just let it dump. And that thing shot up 50% in like a half hour. So I missed that one. So I hope some people FOMO'd into that, even though I don't recommend you trading like that. But I always get happy when I see people tell me that they made money. So, so this isn't. I'm going to say this is good news for Bitcoin private because it's not the $200 that people were really hoping for, and it's definitely not the $500 that people are fantasizing about. But it's a good, strong release at 75. If it can kind of hold this level, then maybe when it gets listed on a bigger exchange, it'll be for a bigger price. But, this also could just be this is the price discovery. And so they're going to take this amount, and when it lists on Binance or Bittrex or wherever have you, this is the price that they're going to use for discovery, and then it's going to dump, and then maybe it'll pump up to $200. So, I could see a potential $200 eventually for Bitcoin private. But again, this is how I'm playing this. Like, selling my Bitcoin, I don't have any Bitcoin private. I do. I'm not going to split I'm not getting into my Bitcoin cold storage though, or any Bitcoin that I have in any wallets, because I'm just not going to do that. It's not worth my time right now to do all that splitting and then to sell it and then buy it back cheap and then trade it. There's trading opportunities all over the place. I don't need to focus specifically on Bitcoin private. But if you did fork and get your Bitcoin private, sell them and then wait for them to dump and then accumulate them cheaper. Now, I could be 100% wrong. It could pump, but that's not the pattern that we've seen. If we go to all, this is all, and, we launched at a high of 009, and now we're down to, 0068, so we've, lost about 25% of the value. It's dropped about 25%. Not insignificant, but, so maybe this is the accumulation period. I don't know, but I'm looking for it to go down more. But we see momentum slowing down a little bit, but I think we can go lower. Maybe I'm wrong. If you want to hold your Bitcoin private, hold your Bitcoin private. I would sell Bitcoin private, and then I trade it. I don't see the point of holding on to something that is not Bitcoin, or maybe Ethereum, or maybe some really strong alts that you really believe in. you know, there's ways to invest and there's ways to trade. You just got to pick what you want to do. All right, so obviously I've been talking for a really long time. I wanted to keep this video short, but obviously it's gone on a long time. So real quick, let's talk about our last topic, and we'll talk about TrueUSD, because Tether wasn't scammy enough. All right, so TrueUSD is a new stable coin. It's now listed on Bittrex. You can trade against TrueUSD instead of Tether, instead of Bitcoin, things of this nature. You can use it to keep your value in TrueUSD. It's supposed to be pegged to the dollar, and you know they're saying that their money is 100% backed up and collateralized by USD and legally protecting escrow accounts. And I kind of like this dude. This is funny. He's like, the word quote escrow unquote is a good sign of a trusted platform, right? Now voice out your opinion about TUSD. Come on, man. And you know what really bothers me is that all these people on Bitcoin Talk, which is just a shill fest anyways nowadays, it's just people saying this is very good if we have a competitor. Wait a second. Hold on a second. Sorry. Comparator for USDT. Sorry, grammar Nazi. I'm a little surprised that today Bittrex added such a project. I think that Bittrex is no longer so popular as before. I don't like this one. We have enough problems with Tether. Yes, it is really good to see some competition in the stablecoin market. Yes, I've seen this news before. Competition is always good. USDT is a bad coin pretending to be USD. USDT isn't regulated. USDT is minted by Bitfinex. I hope TrueUSD is better than USDT. See, listen, dude. No, it's not better. You know, you don't want. Okay. Okay. Let me explain this. And we'll just take the simplest approach. Do you honestly? Okay. Is TrueUSD issued by the U.S. government, by the Federal Reserve Bank? No? Do you really think that the United States government is going to allow a dollar-pegged coin to be trading that they don't distribute or control? This is why Tether is going to blow up, because it doesn't matter if the dollars are there or not. I mean, it does. That's another aspect of it too. It doesn't matter if you can or can't not trust their banking. It doesn't matter if they can print it. None of that matters. It matters that there's no way that the United States government, the Federal Reserve Bank, are going to allow some token, some virtual currency that claims to be their money digitized to fly. I mean, Bitcoin's one thing that they don't like, but TrueUSD, come on, man, it's just stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is very valuable to traders to be able to use that, especially Tether has been, to arbitrage. Tether was really invented so that big Bitfinex, whales could arbitrage between exchanges. Bitcoin. That's why Tether was invented. Apparently, it was always also invented as a way for Bitfinex to just print money out of thin air. I don't know why they just didn't make their own altcoin. I guess they decided to go the smarter route because everybody likes Tether and wants to use Tether. You know, all this. TrueUSD, a USD-backed stablecoin you can exchange and trust, 100% collateralized by USD and legally protecting escrow accounts with multiple bank partners so you can trade, send, and receive payments with peace of mind. No, you're going to get shut down. All that money is going to get confiscated. All that Bitcoin is going to get lost in value. No. I don't like it. Don't like it. Don't use it. Don't mess with it. So, you know, here's all the links, the FAQ. Let's see here. I thought I had seen something in their FAQ that I thought was interesting. I mean, you do have to go through the KYC AML process, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because they're going through the KYC AML process doesn't mean like they have a rubber stamp from the government that makes it okay. We'll see, you know. Oh, it's an ERC20 token. That's one thing that I thought was interesting. So it's not its own token. At least Tether is on the Omni protocol riding over the Bitcoin blockchain. With TrueUSD, it's just on the Ethereum blockchain. And all this is done through a smart contract. Right, because smart contracts are so secure. The DAO, the parity hack, Kraken, I could go on. come on, people. Smart contracts are not, they're not market ready yet. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on smart contracts. That's why I'm excited about Rootstock, because they're rolling out slowly and they'll allow smart contracts to operate, developed on by the smartest people in the world, the smartest people in the crypto space. They'll be rolled out market ready when they're ready. So just think of all the Ethereum problems we've had with smart contracts. Even though, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Ethereum projects that I'm excited, that I'm invested in, that I think are interesting. I just have to call it what it is. So you guys can go through this stuff if you want, but I don't think it's particularly interesting. So, oh, this was that. Where'd it go? Just had it. Did it reset? Must have reset. Yeah, it's like over here somewhere. This is that chart of VIA. So, oh, here it is. I just wanted you guys to see this. This is the 1 minute chart of VIA. So this is that Binance hack. So it went from 26.93, give or take, and then it peaked at about here it was at 0.0002654, and then it went to 0.0249, give or take. So I said about 10,000 from the top to the bottom. This is about 9,710%. That's crazy. I mean, these people really tried to make off the bank. So kudos to that innovative attack. Even though I think you're scum for being, for trying to steal people's money like that. I don't care. Like, I know the space that I'm in, and hackers are romanticized, and I love white hat hackers, and I love cryptography, and I love crack and code, all that stuff. But scumbags take people's money. That's as simple as it is. At the end of the day, there's so many legitimate ways to make money out there, especially in crypto. Especially in crypto. If you don't believe me, look at what I'm doing. I teach people how to trade. I provide people with information. I make YouTube videos. I give seminars. I share my opinion. We're working on creating a podcast. Like I said, we're doing these YouTube videos. And I'm able to support my family and do well for myself. And I've never stolen anybody's money. You don't have to be a scumbag to thrive in this world. And if you are a scumbag and you make a quick buck, I can pretty much guarantee you're not going to keep it, because you don't have the mental faculties or the heart to deserve it or keep it. I believe that. That's the way I think the world works. So I'll leave you guys with that. If you guys have any questions or comments, please, again, leave them in the notes section down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you want me to cover in the future. And I just want to take a brief moment to say, look at this baby right here. I know I got a lot of snarky comments about my sound quality. Well, I got this now, baby. And I got a brand new webcam. We are rolling in high gear right now, all right? So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am Justin Wise, JWiseFree, crackingcryptocurrency.com, guys. Pleasure to have shared this evening with you, to have shared this information with you. And I hope you guys have some good trading and good investments ahead of you guys. Have a good night.
Hey guys, does the bear market got you down? Are you feeling worried? Have you been holding on to an altcoin bag for far too long, hoping for summertime booms, but all it's been is winter and springtime busts? Why don't you head on over to our Discord server or our website, crackingcryptocurrency.com, and an invite link to the Discord server will be in the notes section down below. Hop on, join us. We've got a lot of traders, a lot of investors, a lot of just crypto lovers and miners on there talking all the time. You can find a channel that you like and fit in and ask questions. Feel free to DM me or any of the other admins. We'd be happy to help you out and introduce you to the community. We're excited to see you guys grow. Hope to see you in there, guys. Thank you. JWiseFree.